Hello everyone, today is going to be a very different video. It's just going to be you and I. Adam and Malachi are out in the living room right now spending some time together. I'm in here about to do my makeup because today's video is going to be very deep and personal and very vulnerable, so I thought I should be doing something other than just talking, or else I don't know how it's gonna end up. I don't know if I'm gonna cry, but like, you know, me doing my makeup will probably help distract me a little bit. But anyway, I'm gonna be doing my makeup today and just talking about postpartum. I'm just gonna be talking about what's on my mind, what's going on mentally and physically, and how things are going, basically everything. What I am not going to talk about though is my C-section, like in detail of how that went, because we kind of already talked about it in another video. If you guys haven't seen that already, it's on our channel. So we talked about that, and we talked about why I had to get a C-section. So I'm not going to go into detail about that, but I will mention it, and that everything I talk about in this video, it's a part of why I feel the way I do, and it all relates to my postpartum healing and everything. Okay, so it all makes sense. It's just everything that is piled in my head, so bear with me. I don't know how it's gonna go, but yeah, there's just so much going on in my head that I feel like I'm gonna forget to mention like a lot of things. So I did write some bullet points down in my phone because there are things that I want to talk about, and I feel like it's very healthy to talk about it because it makes me feel like I'm not alone, you know? I know that so many women, so many moms go through this right after birth, so it's really nice to hear that you're not the only one. It's really nice to hear that you can relate with other people, and you know, it's all part of giving birth, I guess. I'm gonna start doing my makeup and then I'll just go from there. So where do we even start? Guess I'll start with my eyeshadow. First thing I want to start off from is my C-section, how I feel about it. Like I said, I'm not going to detail, but it's definitely part of my postpartum healing, and that's how I had to give birth, you know, so I have to mention it, you know. I think it was really hard for me because I so badly wanted to have a vaginal birth, and so if you guys watched our video, then you guys saw that we were actually in labor until I was 9 centimeters dilated, and then they told me I had an infection, yada yada yada, and then I had to have an emergency C-section. I didn't have time to think or whatever. I think it really, like, not ruined, but like it gave me like a whole new perspective of like childbirth and everything, and not everything will always go as you planned. I mean, I already expected that like I knew that your birth plan may not go as you planned, but I did not think that it would be this way, you know. So it was a very traumatic thing for me. I just felt like I was robbed of a lot of things, and I was so drugged out the whole time that I feel like I missed out on a lot of things. Like right after they cut me open, like I didn't even know it was starting already. Okay, they didn't say, all right, here we go. I just felt stuff like being tugged, and then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes later, I heard a little soft cry. I heard a little soft cry, and I knew that my baby boy was out. And then I didn't even get to see him, you know. Like I've seen videos where people have C-section and they like, here's your baby, and they show you, you know, but I did not see him at all. I just heard him cry, and then they took him, and you know, they started, you know, doing all those things after they pull him out from you, and so they were like cleaning his lungs. I didn't get it to see him until like 2 hours after, and I just felt like I couldn't feel what I should have felt. I was so drugged out, I was so cold, I was just so tired. I was just like, I felt like I was numb. I felt like I wasn't there, you know, and I didn't have time to think about any of that until after I already came home, and I thought about my whole experience, and I was just like very heartbroken by it, and I was very like, I just felt like I was so robbed of so many things. So I am talking about this part because, like I said, it all relates to how I am healing from postpartum, so I'm gonna mention it. The pain from a C-section, my scar, I just felt like I could not do a lot of things. I was very limited on things that I could and could not do, and I did not know how much you use your stomach muscles until after you have the C-section, because you just don't expect to be using that muscle so much, but like you use it so much, like coughing, sneezing. I couldn't do any of that. I held off of coughing and sneezing for like 2 weeks. Like if I was going to sneeze, I held my nose. I did not want to sneeze. I was so scared of doing anything at all, so scared of it opening back up. I was just like super paranoid, okay? And I was, like I said, I feel like I was very limited on things I could and could not do. I have a newborn, and I felt like I couldn't really take care of him because my C-section. I was so upset and like, I don't want to say depressed because you know, it's a very big word. I was super upset. Like the whole first week I was home, all I wanted to do was like cry. I was very numb. I was very emotional, and I was also very super swollen and super sore. I don't know if you guys, I mean, compared to what I look now, and if you went back to watch our birth and delivery vlog and everything, I was super swollen, okay? I had bruises all over my arm. My legs were super sore. If I sat down too long, I feel like my legs were like very tight, and I felt like they were going to explode. I think because there was so much fluid in my body from all the IVs and everything, and you know, because they said I had an infection, so I had to have like an IV on me for like 4 days. They came in like every 2 hours to take blood out of me. I was like very pale, and I just did not have any color in me at all. It all really just came down to all the things they did to me coming home. I just couldn't do what I needed to do to like fully be there for my child. And even Adam, you know, like during the nights when I would try to put Malachi to sleep and he would fall asleep, and then you know, I would be laying in bed, I was just thinking about a lot of things. I would get really sad and emotional because I look at Adam, and then I felt like, okay, I'm getting a little emotional, okay. I felt like I couldn't be there for both of them. Okay, sorry. I told you guys I didn't know where it was gonna go, but I would just lay there at night and I look at Malachi, and then I look at Adam, and I just felt really like heartbroken and confused and all these feelings, because I felt like I couldn't be there for either of them because of what has happened to me. I woke up crying to Adam. He would ask me why I was crying, and I like had to tell him that I was sorry. I feel like I couldn't be there for him, and I couldn't be there for Malachi. I just felt, I don't know, I feel like I wasn't myself, and I didn't know how to explain it to him, and it was like killing me on the inside because, like I said, I couldn't be there for him also. It was just so many things going on in my head, and it was very hard for me to explain. And I see lots of new moms going through, you know, all these feelings, and now I feel like I understand why they feel the way they do, but it's very hard to explain, you know. So even me trying to explain to you now, I don't know how to explain the feeling. It's just, I don't know how to explain the feeling, but I just felt like I wasn't myself at all, and I felt like I couldn't be there for him, and I just felt really bad because going into pregnancy, one of the biggest things that I feared was postpartum and what it was going to be like afterwards, because I knew that it wasn't going to be the same ever again. I knew it wasn't just going to be me and him ever again, which, you know, we were like preparing ourselves for that, but I did not know what it would be like, you know. So I was just in the moment was very scared about how the outcome was going to be and how things were changing, and I just didn't know how to handle all of it, you know. And it was also just like a very traumatic time in my life. I think September to October has been the most traumatic time of my life. Not only because I had just given birth, but 2 weeks before I had given birth, I had just lost my stepmom. So 2 weeks before I gave birth, I lost my stepmom, and so it was a very traumatic time for me. And couldn't be there for my family. I couldn't really be there for myself. So when I went into labor and then I found out I had an emergency C-section, came home, I was just very confused on like, I was very confused on how I was supposed to feel, you know. I was like, I felt very deep sadness and grief from the loss of my stepmom, and then I was also happy from the birth of my son. At the same time, I was also very traumatized about how things have went. So it was just like a lot for me to deal with, and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know what to expect, so I just didn't feel like myself. I just felt like numb. I just felt guilty also. I felt guilty for being happy, and then I felt guilty for being sad because I shouldn't be sad in a time like this. So I was just like a complete mess, and I was just confused, and I was just an emotional wreck for like 2 weeks straight. And yeah, so I think throughout my postpartum I was just all over the place. I was doing everything I could to, like, you know, try to heal from my C-section. Been trying to take things slow, trying to be there for my son, trying to be there for Adam, trying to be there for me, you know, because most importantly I need to be there for me because my baby needs me, you know. So I couldn't just like try to shut myself off or anything. Gotta take a deep breath. I gotta do my makeup. Anyway, speaking of guilt, I feel like when you mention these things that you're just like, I had a C-section, I can't believe this, I wanted to have a vaginal birth, I feel like a lot of people would like make you feel like you're not allowed to feel certain things, because at the end of the day you had a baby, you had a healthy baby, which is completely true, you know. I am blessed, I am super happy that my baby is here and healthy. That's what gets me through each and every day, is I look at Malachi, look at his face, he's here, he's healthy, we did it, you know. So it gets me through the day, I'm fine. It's just after that whole birth, it traumatized me, and it made me think of my future birth. I also heard that once you have a C-section, you are most likely to have another one in the future, and it made me super scared. I was like, do I want to get pregnant again? Which sucks, because I wanted to get pregnant for the longest time. You know, I loved everything about my pregnancy, everything, but that whole experience really changed my mindset, and it just really scarred me, and it just really traumatized me, and I really, you know, second guessed if I wanted to get pregnant again, because I was super scared to go through it again, you know. For the whole time I was, you know, trying to heal in that home, I just kept telling myself, I just want to feel normal. I was hating a lot of things. I couldn't really complain because I felt guilty of it, but like I said, I just kept telling myself, kept praying to myself to heal, because I just wanted to feel normal again. I was so traumatized, you guys, that I literally just kept telling myself, I want to feel normal, I just want to be normal again. Like, it was bad, you guys, but I am feeling much better now. So sorry about that, the camera died. So I put on my lashes, but anywho, where was I at? I think I was saying how I wanted to feel normal so bad. It was a lot for me, and I just felt guilty for not being there for Adam as well, because Adam has been there for me throughout the whole pregnancy, and throughout, you know, especially after my C-section, I was going through it, and for him to be there for me and just telling me everything's gonna be okay, you know, with the loss of my stepmom and everything, he has been there for me. If he wasn't there for me, or if I didn't have Adam, I had no idea where I would be right now. I don't even want to think about it, but I'm just so thankful for him and for everything that he's done, because it truly has helped me. And if he wasn't there, I would probably still be going downhill, but now I feel so much better because of him and because of Malachi, and I am just super thankful to be having him by my side, and you know, everything he does. Another thing I do want to mention about postpartum is you know, your love life with your spouse or your partner. Not that our love life is going down, but you know, it's a really big part of postpartum, because after your baby, it's not just you two anymore. Like I said, I felt really guilty for feeling like I wasn't there for him, and it was one of the biggest things that I feared once I realized our birth, you know, of our son was almost here. You know, I want, you know, you just hear so many stories about like couples falling apart, or they like start to argue a lot because, you know, their baby and everything. I did not want us to be like that, which we're not, okay? Thankfully we're not like that, but it was something I really feared. And so I think it was just another thing on top of the list that made me feel like scared about postpartum and about the birth of our son and everything. With that being said, I just want to say that anything or everything you feel during postpartum and during your healing process is valid, you know, because it really is such a big, like a huge thing to go through in your life. It's like a huge change, you know. So whatever you're feeling is valid, and it is okay to feel what you feel. You are not alone, and I would not have done it without Adym by my side. So I just want to say a really big thank you to you, Adym, for being by my side always, and that I love you so much. And yeah, I just pray that in the future I will kind of know what to expect now. I'm never gonna go as you expect, but you know, at least I know a little bit more about it now. At least I know what to prepare for, but hopefully it will not be as traumatic as this time. But anyways, to any of you moms out there, putting my hands up, praising any woman out there who is a mom who just gave birth, who, you know, goes through postpartum depression, everything. Shout out to you all. Shout out to me, and shout out to all the dads who are there for their partner and there for, you know, everything. I don't think people mention that enough, but shout out to you dads as well. And who, I am just gonna end this video right here. I feel like it's super long and it's all over the place, but I hope it was helpful in any sort of way. If it was, I am glad. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys in our next video.